Hello, welcome to my channel, and today I'll be sharing some of the scariest real-life murder stories. These stories are even more terrifying than horror movies, and they are based on actual events. If you're ready, let's step into the dark side of reality. Section 1. JonBenét Ramsey Murder Case. In 1996, 6-year-old beauty queen JonBenét Ramsey was found dead in the basement of her family home. The little girl had been strangled and suffered a fatal blow to her head. However, what happened that night remains a mystery to this day. While some believe a stranger was responsible for the murder, the FBI and other investigators have explored multiple theories. To this day, the killer has never been identified, and the case remains one of the most infamous unsolved murders in America. This case shows how the tragic death of a child can devastate a family, and how the identity of a murderer can haunt an entire nation. The question of who killed JonBenét Ramsey still disturbs people to this day. Section 2. The Black Dahlia, Elizabeth Short Murder. Another notorious and horrifying murder took place in Los Angeles in 1947. Elizabeth Short, a 22-year-old aspiring actress, was found murdered on January 15, 1947. Her body was discovered in a park, severed in half. The crime shocked the public, and Elizabeth quickly became known as the Black Dahlia. The circumstances of her murder were brutal. Her body had been mutilated, and parts of her mouth and face were cut. Despite various suspects and claims of people being near the crime scene, the killer was never caught. The Black Dahlia murder remains one of the darkest and most mysterious unsolved cases in American criminal history. Section 3. The Zodiac Killer. The Zodiac Killer, one of the most infamous serial killers in history, terrorized California in the late 1960s and early 1970s. Between 1968 and 1969, the Zodiac Killer murdered 4 people and sent taunting letters to the police. These letters described in detail how he killed his victims and often included cryptic messages. Despite the killer's attempts to communicate with the police, the Zodiac's true identity has never been discovered. His letters and codes became an eerie puzzle that many still try to solve today. His murders and the mystery of his identity have cemented his place as one of the most terrifying criminals of all time. Section 4. Ted Bundy, the Serial Killer. Ted Bundy is one of the most terrifying serial killers in American history. In the 1970s, Bundy kidnapped, tortured, and killed young women across several states. Known for his charm and intelligence, Bundy was able to evade capture for years. He was ultimately arrested in 1978, and it's estimated that he murdered over 30 women, though the exact number is unknown. What makes Bundy even more chilling is his ability to manipulate the justice system. During his trial, Bundy represented himself, and even after his conviction, he continued to describe in detail the horrific acts he committed. Bundy's story is a terrifying reminder of how a charming and seemingly normal person can harbor such dark, twisted intentions. Section 5. The Hinterkaifeck Murders. In 1922, a chilling murder took place in rural Germany. The Hinterkaifeck farm, located in a secluded area, was home to a family that was brutally murdered. The victims, including the family matriarch, her daughter, and 2 young children, were all killed. What makes this case even more terrifying is that the killer stayed on the farm for several days after committing the murders. The killer used the family's food and tools, and it wasn't until several days later that the crime was discovered. To this day, the murderer's identity remains unknown, and theories about who was responsible for the killings vary. Some speculate that the killer was an outsider, while others believe it was someone within the family. The Hinterkaifeck murders continue to be one of the most perplexing and chilling, unsolved cases in criminal history. Real-life murders show us the dark side of human nature and how terrifying the truth can be. These crimes are not just disturbing because of how they were committed, but also because of the mysteries that surround them. Despite numerous investigations, some of these cases remain unsolved, reminding us that some secrets may never be uncovered. These horrifying stories demonstrate how fragile the boundaries between what we consider normal and what is monstrous can be. Whether it's an unsolved murder, a bizarre disappearance, or an unexplainable crime, the unknown always leaves us in fear. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications. Let me know in the comments which story scared you the most, or which murder case you'd like to see explored further. I'll see you in the next video. Until then, stay safe and beware of the shadows.